Round 25 of the NRL season had it all. On Friday night, we were treated to a very strange finish in Mudgee. On Saturday, the locals got a very good game of touch football down at Brookie, and the Chooks drowned in the Parramatta River. And Sunday, there was absolute silence on the hill at Leichhardt. What will round 26 have in store? What's happening, guys? Burgz back again for another week of tips and predictions here on the Casual Athlete. This week it is round 26, and round 25 was absolutely amazing. And I'm so sorry, guys, that there was no video last week. Unfortunately, I was away and was unable to put out a video, but I did manage to put out a Last Minute Madness video with Longy that we do on Thursdays. So those will be the tips that we will be using for the video this week. And I will go into my tips from round 25 in just a moment. But before I do that, guys, just a reminder to like and subscribe to the channel. We bring out so much content each and every week, and we can't do it without your guys' support. So if you hit that like button and hit the notification bell, you won't miss out on any of our latest content. Now, let's just take a quick look back at the week that was in round 25. And we start off really hot with tipping the Rabbitohs on Thursday night. And, they came out strong. They are really down on troops this year, and they have, they've really been up against it for a lot of this year. And I really don't think that they were anywhere, or shouldn't have been anywhere near the wooden spoon conversation. They're not that bad of a team. The Panthers going down to the Raiders in Mudgee. What a game this was. It was excellent football to watch. So happy that the Raiders got the victory in the end. I mean, I did tip the Panthers, but what a finish that was. It's crazy how Cleary hits the post, and then Ethan Strange gets the ball, takes it coast to coast, and gives it to KO Weeks, who scores the winner in Golden Point. And wow, geez, what did Penrith have to do to win a game lately? The Doggies, I thought they were going to get there in the end on the other game on Friday night. I'm just not totally convinced by their attack still. It looked very clunky for moments in this game, and I think the Storm just were a little bit better than them and ended up getting the victory in the end. But Harry Grant is suspended for the next 2 weeks, so that is not good news for the Storm. On the back of that game, the Dolphins, wow, what a weird game that was as well. Out of Brookie, 58-30, 88 points scored. And I think the word defense was forgotten during this game. But unfortunately, the Dolphins didn't get the victory, and that does definitely hurt their finals chances. I mean, they don't have that many players available at this point in time. A lot of these teams really struggling on the injury front, and maybe that's something that the NRL needs to take a look at. Titans not getting a victory against the Warriors. I felt like the Warriors were good in that game. Maybe it was a little bit naive of me to think that the Titans could go get a victory. They are struggling this year. The writing's been on the wall for the Titans a lot in this season, and maybe I'm just not reading into that. And for the Warriors, credit to them. They just keep soldiering on without some of their best players. Roosters. Now, this was the big upset of the week. Parramatta getting the victory at home against a team that they don't have a great record against in the Roosters. And the Roosters, after Sam Walker went off, I think Hugo Savaro really struggled. Did not really want to take over the team properly. He was kind of just kicking most of the game and kind of waiting for stuff to happen. And unfortunately, for a youngster, he learned a bit of a lesson that day that, if he's going to step up and be a quality half in this league, then he's going to have to take over games at times, especially if his opposing half member is going to get injured as well. The Broncos getting a victory, I wasn't worried about that, but the big game on Sunday, guys, I went down to Leichhardt. I was one of, I don't want to say 50 Cowboys fans that I saw at Leichhardt Oval. Packed house, 16,500 people turned up to Leichhardt on Sunday, and it was looking bleak. It was looking dire for moments in that game for the Cowboys. And within 6 minutes, it all changed. 12-point deficit erased in 6 minutes of brilliant football from Scott Drinkwater. Oh, I can't tell you how obnoxious I was on the way back to the pub at the end of this game. I'm lucky, and thank you, Tigers fans, for not bashing me or belting me on the way back to the pub. with me shouting out Cowboys, Cowboys over and over again. Love getting a win on the Tigers, especially wearing those heritage jerseys from 2005. It's a good little battle to win there for the Cowboys. But guys, unfortunately, a bit of a disappointing week. Just a 3 out of 8 tips correct. And that puts our season total at 111 out of 188 there. I think there's a few games that maybe I missed and didn't put tips in at any point in time. But those are the official numbers from the NRL.com app that I use on a weekly basis. But guys, thank you for being a part of my tips each and every week. I do appreciate the support. And now we will move on to round 26. All right, guys, I'm chomping at the bit to get stuck into some tips, and I hope you are as well. So let's start off this round with the possible game of the round with the Dogs taking on the Panthers at Accor Stadium on Thursday night. Now, this is a hectic game to start off round 26, and the Panthers have owned the Dogs since 2019, winning all their games since that year. And these two teams met not that long ago. I think it was round 17, and the Dogs met the Panthers in the middle of a 9-game winning streak. Obviously, that streak has been recently broken, and they are a little bit adrift at this point in time. The top 4 for the Panthers seems a little bit out of their reach right now, and this Dog side are really clinging on to hope that they might get a home final. I think that's pretty much dead in the water at this point, and they're going to have to reside to playing Melbourne in Melbourne, which is one of the worst things to go and do first week of a finals. And yeah, I really thought that last week in the game, their attack still looks very stunted. It doesn't look clean at all. I'm worried that Burton isn't taking on too much of a ball playing role, and I'm seeing a lot of Galvin interject himself. Galvin had, I think it was over 12 runs in the game last week. He really took on the line, and I think Burton's been in the wars a little bit. He looks a bit banged up. That knee is heavily strapped. He copped a massive shot as well on the weekend, got hit in the ribs pretty hard as well. I just wonder if Burton, and again, it's kind of raising the questions for me as to, is Burton going to be that guy at 6 moving forward for them? I really don't know, because in big games he doesn't really step up too much in terms of injecting himself at the right time. I think that he's good for an intercept try, and we've seen that a couple of times. And I just wonder whether his ball playing skills are a little bit um, underwhelming, and then he's really in there for his long kicking game, and then his bombs threat is always good. But geez, I want to see more out of him on the ball playing front. Maybe a short kicking game as well. Don't know if he's got that in him. Galvin seems to be doing a lot of the short kicking, so yeah, it's a bit difficult on the Panthers side of things. I really think that they win this game this week. They are big outsiders, which I'm finding hard to believe, to tell you the truth. Yeah, don't know if they're going to rest some guys, but I think I saw somewhere that they're paying $3 at the moment. I'd get on that if I was a betting man, and which I am, so I'm probably going to get on them. I will go the Panthers in this one, 1-12. I just think that the Dogs, they're lacking a little bit at this point. They always get up for this game, and it was a very close game last time these two teams played. But geez, I think the Panthers will get a win here and break this little losing streak that they're on. Let's go the Panthers, 1-12. We go to Friday night's games, where the first game is over in Auckland, where the Warriors will be taking on the Parramatta Eels, who are fresh off a big upset defeat of the Roosters, who were probably the hottest team going into round 25 last week. And geez, I think this Eels side are playing some really good football. If you got on them last week, good on you, because you saw it coming way more than I did. I just thought the Roosters had this kind of momentum that really wasn't going to be stopped, and they were going to carry it into the finals. But the Eels stopped them dead in their tracks. They had a lot of ingenuity about the way that they go about things. I'm really loving the energy of their team right now. It's screaming, we're a team for the future, and we can possibly be in the finals race next year. They keep this up, I think that they will. The Warriors, on the other hand, bit mixed form, you could probably say. Yes, they got a big win last week, and it was against the Titans, so how much can you read into it? I'm not too sure. But they're back at home this week. I don't think that'll trouble the Eels too much. The Eels have actually won their last 3 away games against the Warriors, albeit 2 of those games weren't in New Zealand. They were at Suncorp and the Central Coast. But playing away against the Warriors is something that the Eels recently are no strangers to, and they've been pretty successful in the last couple of times they've done it. I'm going to back the Eels this week. Really like the energy they're playing with. As I said before, I just don't trust this Warriors team at the moment. I don't know what it is. Like maybe I'm going early crow on them, and I've called them done for a number of weeks now, and I think that they are in terms of winning the comp. I don't think they can win the comp with the team that they have right now, just because there's too many injuries in it, and it would be a miracle for them to win the comp. But I've loved the energy they've played with this season. I love everything about their team, and I love the youngsters stepping up. That's one of the big things that I love. You're seeing rookies get a good shot. But geez, I think this Eels team are a really tricky customer for the Warriors at the moment. They play a really weird style, the Eels, and I think that the Warriors play a very, I don't want to say rudimentary because that sounds like an insult, but like they play this very stylized form of football where it's they get into a set for set grind and they hold the ball longer than you do and they make sure they don't make mistakes. The Eels can be the victim sometimes of shooting themselves in the foot and making too many mistakes and allowing their opposition to come back into the game. You do that against the Warriors and they make you pay for it. So as long as the Eels don't make too many mistakes this week, I know the game is in Auckland, it could be wet, there could be a few mistakes going around. I think the Eels could win this game. Let's go the Eels 1-12. The second Friday night game is down at Amy Park, where we have the Storm taking on the Roosters, and the Roosters have not beaten the Storm in their last 7 outings, but they seem to always get up for these types of games. I remember finals game a couple of years ago where the Storm won on the bell. And then earlier this year, even it was a 30 to 34 point bonanza of tries. It was a bit crazy. The Roosters, I really like the nucleus of the team that they are building right now. Whether it's going to eventuate into any finals wins or final success this year remains to be seen. But guys like Teddy, who are still producing at the age that he is incredible. I think this week with Sandon Smith coming in, they do lose a bit. Sam Walker's been incredible since he's come back into this team, and to have him out for this game is really crucial. But the Storm have their outs as well. Harry Grant has been suspended for 2 games. Pappenhausen has come back in, but he looks a little bit shy, gun shy, as if you were. He looks like he's kind of afraid to maybe get hit. That concussion, I guess, off the field or residual concussion symptoms have hit him pretty hard recently, and he's had a few concussions across his career. So you can probably not blame the guy for not wanting to get hit too hard or potentially get hit again and be out for an extended period of time as to what it would be, I would say, if he gets hit in the head again. So there's a little bit of tentativeness on his part. I thought he was good, though, last week. And again, there's still the big jewel in the crown there is Jerome Hughes, and he is still not there. And I think Wishard's doing the best job that he can, but he plays, I don't want to say, he plays very differently to Jerome Hughes. Jerome Hughes has developed into this player that is all about setting up his outside men now. Like that's why Elise Katoa has had such a rise in the last couple of years. It is on the back of Jerome Hughes setting him up a lot of the time. I think Katoa has transcended that role now and he is producing on his own. He has become one of the best second rowers in the competition and always had that kind of potential. But I think in this game, this Roosters side, off the back of getting beaten last week, I'm going to back my third upset to happen in a row for this round. Late in the piece here at the end of the year, need to jump up a few spots. I think the Roosters can win this game. And yes, they haven't beaten the Storm since 2022. And yes, there is a big record there, but records are made to be broken, guys. And I think this Roosters team can do it. I think they have a better forward pack at this point in time. And I think their edges are where they could potentially win this game. Daniel Tupou and Coates, this is going to be a very interesting game. Yeah, can they stop Coates? Can they stop Daniel Tupou? Like that's the real thing. It's a real matchup for me in this one. And yeah, I think the Roosters can get it done. Hopefully, Sandon Smith is is the injection of strike power that they need to be able to take on this Melbourne side. He tried to do it earlier in the season, just couldn't get there. I thought they had some chances, but hopefully they get him in this one as well. Let's go the Roosters, 1-12. Super Saturday starts down in Canberra, where we have the Raiders taking on the West Tigers, and no doubt the Tigers will be disappointed to lose on Old Boys Day at Leichhardt last week. Won't go into it too much, but it was pretty good as a Cowboys fan to be sitting amongst a lot of disappointed Tigers fans. Oh, I wanted to give them tissues. I felt really bad for them. Not. Let's go the Raiders in this game. I do think that they they're building really nicely towards the end of this season. They've had a couple of lapses, but they are so good at coming back, man. Again, faced another deficit against the four-time premiers on the weekend, and you could not begrudge them for maybe thinking that they're not worthy at this point, or maybe don't have the confidence to be able to take it to a team like Penrith with the reputation that they've established over the last 4 years. But guys like Strange at the moment, if he was showing this kind of form around May, April, May, this time this year, I think he would have played Origin. This, I don't even think that's a ridiculous point to say. He is killing it at the moment, and it's right at the right time as well. Guys like him and Weeks, they're still so young, but they have this effervescence, this vibrance about them, where they just have no fear and no scars in terms of big losses in big games, and all these guys know right now is winning and improving. Like it's great to see. I really want to see Sav Tamale come back. He's due to come back this week. Whether he gets put into the team or not, I don't know. They're a bit low on wingers. I mean, Albert Hopewade is out for the season. Savage had a pretty bad shoulder injury on the weekend, and Sav Tamale's been out for about 8 weeks or something like that now, 8 to 10 weeks. But he was incredible when he was in the team. So if he can come back this week, he's due to come back. I think this goes a long way to the Raiders winning 13 plus, and I'm probably going to stick with that. Unfortunately for the Tigers fans, their season was ended last week, so they don't have much to play for. And we know the Tigers this year, when they don't have much to play for, they tend to pack it in pretty easily. And I think the Raiders have a really good forward pack in terms of dealing with guys like Terrell May, Fanua Bole, and Sione Fainu. Sione Fainu, yeah. So let's go the Raiders, 13 plus. Next up is the St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Manly Sea Eagles at Jubilee Stadium in Cogra, and I'm inclined to go with St George this week. I feel like Manly are this team where they win one game, they lose one game, then they win one game very spectacularly. But let's not overlook the fact that, yes, they scored 58 points last week, which is a great total to notch up against the Dolphins, who have also conceded some pretty high scores this year. But they also conceded 30. No doubt Seabold will be pretty disappointed with that. And this Dragon side, like last week, they got hammered by 40. They will not put in that performance again. Flanagan's been really good this year at getting them to kind of snap out of it very quickly. And they seem to be able to back up after getting hammered one week. They generally win or go close to winning the next week and make the game very close and somehow put on a defensive masterclass. Turbo turned the clock back last week. He was back to his best. That left side was absolutely cooking. Lehigh Hopewadi scoring a couple of tries. Brooks getting in there as well. I don't expect that to happen this week. They get a lot of players back. St George, I think Hame Sele comes back. Jack DeBellin, Jaden Sewer is due back, and Hamish Stewart is also due back to come back from a concussion. So you won't see guys like Faitala Mariner and Murdoch Masilla, who have barely played this season, let alone go out there and play a big game, a must-win game against the Rabbitohs. But it's do or die for Manly this week. They need to win to keep their season alive. It really helps with beating the Dolphins last week and then the Roosters copping a loss as well. It keeps them in the hunt for the 8. Whether they can keep that motivation going or whether this will be the end of their season remains to be seen. But I think the Dragons can get it done. The thing that sways me is that the Manly haven't won at Jubilee Stadium since 2014. That's just a fact. They don't like traveling that well, especially against the Dragons. They don't like. If this game was at Wynn Stadium, I'd be heavily on the Dragons. But Jubilee, treat this one with a little bit of caution. But I think the Dragons can get it done. Let's go the Dragons, 1-12. Super Saturday finishes with a blockbuster up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, where it is little brother taking on big brother, with my North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Now, the Cowboys haven't beaten the Broncos since 2022, had an opportunity earlier this year and lost by a measly 10 points. And you've got to say that Brisbane have been a little dodgy this year, but I want to talk about the Cowboys first. For the way that they were managed to handle adversity on the weekend is the stuff that I have been crying out for this year. And I am just really disappointed that it's taken 25 rounds to get to that point. Um, we we haven't handled, when teams get on top of us and changing the momentum of a game really well this year at all. And on Sunday, we had every reason to give up. It's Old Boys Day out at Leichhardt. There's 16,000 people there shouting for the other team. Whenever the Cowboys scored, there was utter silence. Like it was deafening. You could hear a pin drop when the Cowboys scored every single time they scored during that comeback as well. But this team has not shown much fight this year, and they did on the weekend. If they can take some of that into this game against the Broncos, I give us a massive shot, because the Broncos are missing some quality guys. They are missing Adam Reynolds. They are missing Ezra Mam. There's no Selwyn Cobbo there. And those are the holes we have to expose. But guys like Katoni Staggs have been stepping up a lot recently. You've got Reece Walsh, who is still an electric presence out on the field, but can make some mistakes. And so is Drinkwater. These two fullbacks are guys that can make such bad errors, but then make up for it very quickly, like that. I think this game is going to be a lot of points. I expect it to be the overs. Whatever the overs is, it'll probably be over 50. I'd say 55 plus points in this game. It's going to be massive. Defense won't be on show, but I just think the Broncos forward pack is got a bit more quality in it. It's just with the players that they have, Carrigan and Haas. Like, Taumalolo's been great for us since he's come back and playing the minutes that he's playing, but Haas is a different animal. I really just don't see the matchup that we have for him, and being able to stop him is going to be really hard. And Billy Walters and Ben Hunt are doing a pretty good job as well. Those are some nice backup halves to have for the Broncos. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to go the Broncos to make it 6 in a row against my Cowboys this week. Let's go the Broncos, 1-12. Okay, guys, Sunday's games are games I don't really need to talk about too much, just because there's not really a lot in it from my perspective anyway. First game up is the Sharks taking on the Newcastle Knights at Shark Park. Now, I think the Cronulla Sharks get a win in this game. The only thing that I would say about the Sharks is they lose games this year when you least expect them to. And honestly, I'm going to be completely honest, when they put up, I was watching one of the games on the weekend, and I think it was one of the early games, and they put the Sharks up with their buy round points had already been given to them, and they were in the top 4. I legit thought that someone at Fox League had made a mistake. I think the Sharks this year have been really poor, and yes, I'm going to use this tip as an excuse to take a shot at the Sharks. I think they've been really poor this year. I don't know how they're sitting in the position that they are. I don't think they've won any meaningful games. I don't think they've played anywhere near cohesively at any point this year. I can't pick one game where I've been like, yep, that's the Sharks team that we need to see in the finals. Them there, that's great. No, like I haven't seen it at all, and they're lucky that they get a pretty soft draw pretty much every year. Again, like, if you're a Sharks fan in the comment, I think you guys need to admit that you have a soft draw pretty much every year. I don't know how it happens. I think the NRL look after you pretty nicely, and it's just going to continue again this week. Unfortunately for Newcastle, they've just got a couple of really key outs that really don't favour them in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, they're going to be pretty up against it in this one, unfortunately. Let's go the Sharks, 13 plus. And guys, the last game of the round is a game where, if you're looking for a defensive masterclass, you might want to switch to a different channel, with the Dolphins taking on the Titans. Now, the Titans in recent days have informed their coach, Des Hasler, that his services will no longer be required at the club at the end of the season. Now, he was signed on for next year, and I think it is a positive move for the Titans. I mean, again, there's only so much positivity I can say about the Titans because it's getting to the point now where, next year is their 20th year as a club. And I need to look into the stats, but I think you can count on one hand how many times that their club has made the finals, and that's not a good thing. For a new club coming in 2006, they had a number of really good players signed for them, and now like you look at their squad, it's actually pretty star studded. There's a lot of really good players in there, but they can never make it work. Um, they chew halves up and spit them out as well. I'm worried for guys like AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell that they're just wasting their careers on the Titans and not going anywhere. And I don't know how the Titans fans can stick by their team at the moment. I'd be wanting more out of the 20 years that they have been a club. That's just my take. But yeah, the Dolphins also are a new team to the competition, and they have a way bigger fan base. They have a way better following, and they also have the wood on the Titans since they joined the competition. They've won 4 out of the 5 games they've played against them. Whether that continues this week remains to be seen. I actually am going to get on the Titans this week. For the simple reason that the Dolphins team is so depleted that the Titans, if they lose this game, they deserve the spoon. I don't want them to get the spoon purely because I want Newcastle to get the spoon, because that would make me right, guys. Earlier in the season, I picked the Newcastle Knights to get the spoon, so hopefully that's going to happen this week. I'm getting on the Titans. Hopefully they get out of that 17th place, and the spoon will go to Newcastle this year. But guys, let's go the Titans, 1-12. So guys, that's it for the video today. Let me know your tips and predictions down in the comments section below. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We bring out so much content each and every week, and we do appreciate your guys' support. And I'll catch you on the next one.